Yo, what's up guys, welcome. We've got a special edition for you today. If you don't know, I'm Tom here at Dabs of Reality, and we've got a very special episode. We've got kind of a dual trip report from a pretty wild trip on mushrooms. We've got my friend here, my good friend Damien. He's got a YouTube channel as well, and so how we're going to do this is, I'm going to share some stuff and Damien's going to share some stuff, but most of his story will be on his channel, so I'd highly recommend you go and check that out. The link will be in the description below. I'll also put a little flying thing in on the screen here. Yeah,
where it is, I can't see it.
so tell me, Damien, what's your channel all about, and what are you sharing these days?
Yeah, it's very funny because I started my channel in French actually. It was mostly for my blog, which was about minimalism, intermittent fasting, my experience into that, and then I started to do some videos in English last year, and I had a pretty big break during the 2020, and I just started recently once again to do some more videos, but I'm gonna explain because this trip report actually was kind of a confirmation for me of the path I want to go, so I'll say more later.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. Well, listen, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you enjoy these kinds of videos, make sure you hit there's a subscribe button somewhere. And if you've got any questions, like for me or for Damien, drop them in the comments below. And we're always curious to hear like what's your story, because I think for everybody, psychedelics is different, and we all go on our own unique journeys. And I will say as well, guys, like the sound quality is probably not as good as usual. We don't have a dual microphone system right now, so
not yet.
We're in a pretty big room as well. They've got a lot of reverb and stuff. So anyway, with all that being said, let's jump into the real meat of today's video, which is a really interesting psychedelic trip. This was magic mushrooms, active component, and psilocybin. I believe they were golden teachers. We both had 4 grams each. I just had the tea. I did a double extraction with twice pouring the water over. Damien, he had the tea, he had the mushrooms, he had my mushrooms afterwards as well, and he got quite the ride. And so what's really fascinating about this is usually I prefer tripping on my own. I prefer going internal and really just having this experience for me, and having a higher dose experience with somebody else is not something I've really done much of, only with my brother. And so we both have both had very different experiences, and in a sense of, for me, I was still very much going inside, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in just a moment. And Damien was more extrovert and talking, and leaving messages for people, and
I was so worried too. I was a little bit worried of interfering in your trip as well, but at the same time I couldn't help myself, just talking all the time.
So where do we start? I mean, do you have any, is there a question that you have that could help kick off?
We can explain a little bit more of the setup we had first.
Sure.
Maybe in my place. It was in my place, so it was a very comfy place, very super comfy. I put everything to make us comfortable, and then as you explained, pretty double extract and everything. You did you smoke a joint as well?
Yeah, we had a little.
Yeah, we did. So
small bit.
So, but that's more on my side of the story. But when I went back, it was Friday, and I had a very full week of work, and I was very exhausted actually. And I was like, I wanna jump right into it. So I said, I never do that usually, smoking weed before a psychedelic. I never ever done that, and I say, let's do it, let's jump into it. So we shared a joint, and then we drank the tea, and then what happened for you?
Yeah.
What's happened? How did you feel that it was coming?
So after the tea, so we had some nice music on, of course. Setting is super important. Comfy environment, good friend to trip with, and great music, comfy. Just nothing to tend to, So the mental space is free, and so for me. Usually with psychedelics you feel the bodily sensations, the rushes, and for me, certainly this experience was very much a bodily experience. So I felt it come up in my body,
If I may, I just want to ask, because we had a setup intention as well at first, remember? So we had a meditative experience before ingesting the mushroom to acknowledge the sacred, the spiritual moments we're gonna have. And what was your intent, if you remember?
The intent for me was, so I wanted to let the mushrooms show me and take me to where was needed, but the intention was to connect more with the feminine energy and sort of open up more to that and try and get some answers perhaps.
Nice.
Or some guidance. So that really and for you?
I'm gonna explain in my trip report after, yes.
Right, okay. So yeah, and so this is what happened. The rushes came, and then the internal dialogue started coming, and so I was just laid down, didn't want to move, I didn't want to talk, and I had very strong. I mean, at some point, once after about an hour, things really started hitting, and I had this very strong feminine voice in my head and it was quite a strong, firm, almost. She was almost telling me off for something.
The spiritual authority.
Yeah, and so it was almost as if I was getting told off because there was nothing new that was available to me in that moment in terms of information, in terms of understanding my situation, in terms of getting clarity on anything. Because my last trip, if you guys have not seen the video, I did 7.5 grams of magic mushrooms a couple of months ago, and I got a lot of information in that trip. So it was almost as if the guide or the mushrooms or whatever presence was I was interacting with there, because it didn't seem like my voice, right? So whether that was just my unconscious or whatever, I don't know, but it was kind of telling me off, like, hey, you already know this, like, you know. And she was commenting. She had a running commentary on all my thoughts, right? So
Amazing.
she was just like pointing things out and almost like just abusing me in the sense of like, what are you doing? Why are you doing? Like, you already know this. Like, it was almost like a frustration of like, Tom, like, you already know this. Like, I'm just
Stop
gonna
overthinking, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you the same thing.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna tell you the same thing.
Like, stop thinking, feel it now.
Yeah, and funny you mentioned that, because we both had these experiences of intense pleasure, just like feeling of the body, like these energetic experiences of just like full body orgasm of. I mean, I've never had that to that extent on psychedelics.
Yeah,
before.
me neither.
It was, that was really powerful, and that's what really made the difference with this particular trip. And I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of other details. There is one other event that I will share with you that was really profound, and this is really something that has stayed with me since that day. But the rest of the trip was fairly chill. There was a lot of thinking inside and just and more so just feeling things, feeling my body, feeling this energy move around, and that was really, I think, what I needed in that moment. And obviously I was trying to handle, you know, Damien and what was happening with his trip, and you know, I was able to listen but not respond, because my mind was like, I could focus on one thing for a few seconds, and you know, if Damon's talking to me and he's got this beautiful idea coming through, I'm like after 5 seconds I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm just drifting off. I'm like, yeah, cool. And so, you know, bringing through profound truths of the universe, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and then what was that?
What was that? So anyway, as we were wrapping up, you know, I like to order a vegan Domino's, which is what we have here in Bulgaria.
Dude, you were the boss onto that.
Yeah.
He was like, by the way, because we didn't have that much of conversation, I was talking all the time, and obviously he wasn't really replying, and at some point said, by the way, you didn't notice, but there's a pizza on the way. I was like, wow! I was such like a kid once again.
Yeah, well, I mean, we both fasted. I'd fasted all day.
No, I did not.
Right, okay. So I'd fasted all day. I was super hungry, and usually after a trip, I like a pizza or whatever. And but obviously the store was going to shut, so I had to make sure that we had it ordered just in time. So that came And to be fair, this was only like 4.5 hours in, but usually things start to calm down after like 4 hours or so, and they were calming down, and I was like, man, I'm really hungry. Still tripping a bit, but really hungry. So we nailed this pizza. We had a small spliff, and yeah, we were just chilling, chatting, just sharing experiences. And I'm laid down, and I start relaxing. I'm laying down. And I'm just like, I'm shutting my eyes. I'm drifting off, and all of a sudden, like I see this like waving gesture. This waving gesture comes into my mind, and this profound this strong voice was saying, we're leaving now, but we'll always be with you, right? And so I was like, whoa. And then all of a sudden my body, this was like, it was almost as if this was a parting gift from the guides and whoever was with us during this experience.
I will tell more in my trip reports why.
It was an experience unlike anything that I'd ever had in my entire life. Like the energetic feeling of pleasure that was coursing through our bodies at periods during the trip, the intense moments where that sort of filled up our bodies. It wouldn't last for very long, but they would come in waves, right? And so what happened after I kind of got waved off, and those words have really stuck with me, because whatever you believe, I certainly believe that there is, I guess, guides or gods or spirits or angels, whatever you want to call them, that we all have in our corner that are assisting and helping in certain ways. And I think that a lot of times we disconnect ourselves from feeling, and it's through feeling that you can allow that energy from these these guides, these spirits, to help move and unblock and help you experience more of what is available to you. So I believe this was kind of what I was experiencing here in that sense of my body just started to fill up from my toes all the way up through to my head. I'm like, okay, like this energy's coming again. I'm just going to relax. I thought it was like, all right, this is just the same thing that's happening before in the trip, but it just got way more intense. And it got so intense that I had to really focus on controlling my breathing, and my heart rate started pounding through the roof. Started breathing really heavily. And I had to really keep my composure to be like, right, just allow whatever's happening, relax, allow, and just go with it. And it got to the point where my body was almost like shaking and vibrating, and I felt like I felt like I was about to take off and dissolve. Like I got this sense of
I'm glad you did not.
right. But I mean, I could have, right? That's how it was. Yeah, that's how I was perceiving it, of just like kind of dissolving, and then this wave, this intense wave of emotion, of intense sadness, of intense happiness, of like crying my eyes out, but just feeling like both extremes. And this lasted for probably 10 or 15 minutes, which was, it just felt like an eternity almost. And really, like, words could not really put into. You were smashed crying on the floor, and I was acknowledging all the deep healing that was happening through your system. It was beautiful, yeah. So what did you perceive during that experience? Could you tell what was going on?
Wow, no, I just recognized the fact that you went through like burning some deep shit, if I say yes. Yeah. Like finally, like giving up some heavy mental matrices and emotional loads. Yeah. This is what I felt coming out from you. Yes, yeah. It was pretty intense. Yeah. Wow, it was nice.
Yeah, so that for me was probably one of the most intense experiences. Well, the most intense experience I've ever had in my life, and so you're probably thinking, well, okay, great. I mean, like, you're tripping balls and like whatever, like, and like, but what does this mean? Like, how does it impact your day-to-day life? What benefit do you get from this? Because it's easy for us to for people sometimes to get lost in like the awe of the experience and want to experience that more and more. But you find with mushrooms, first of all, they're not addictive. Wow. And second, if you take them too often, I think, this was the case for me. This trip was probably a little bit too soon, in my opinion. That the mushrooms did give me a bit of a beating. You know, they did like say, what are you doing? Like, why are you back here?
That's very funny what you say, because me it was the opposite, in the sense that I didn't really choose to, and this is, I think, the best trip I ever had is exactly like that. It's like when the universe delivered them to me. Yeah. It's like, I'm not saying like I'm gonna have a trip right now, right here at that time. Yeah. It's like I kind of let it happen, and the universe say, you're ready for this experience, and I open to that. And for me, so no, it was the perfect timing. But it was way too much, and in that sense that I don't know when I'm gonna trip again until a very long time, I think. Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Yes, like I'm still integrating everything that happened.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So I will close with one other thing as well, then we can get into Damien's story. There was something else that I noticed throughout the trip, and this is something that has stayed with me. So this, you know, we're leaving now, but you're will always be with you. So who will always be with me, and how am I going to like sense this? And so during the trip there was a lot of and this is what I've been, I guess, relaxing and letting go of, in the sense of, you know, perhaps when I'm in deep breathing or listening to music, I can have this like urge or this sensation of like my hands moving and my body wanting to move, but not in a forced way, but just like that's what's coming through, that's what's like flowing through me, and that's what feels good in that moment. And I had a lot of this during the trip, and it felt like a very feminine energy, and that's what stayed with me. Like I find myself, you know, saying to Damien yesterday that I'm walking around and like my hands are just kind of almost like flowing through the like the thickness of the matrix, kind of like swimming through the, you know, the resistance of the ether. I'm
so glad you had this connection, man, because it's part of my mission now, is to help men connect to this divine feminine energy. Because once you're connected to that, you're emotionally, sentimentally free from any dependence to have to receive feminine love, feminine energy from any woman. And once you resolve that, because you got that connection, well, it makes you automatically more attractive to women as well. It reflects on the universe, this abundance of feminine energy. It's amazing, and it's part of my new mission now to help people get connected to that. Because I've been talking about that for a long time, and I see you and I see other friends of us having this connection now, and it's beautiful. Magic is beautiful.
So this is one of the benefits that I've got from it, is just this. You know, just to pause, relax, and just I don't know, it's something that you can kind of tap into at any moment, and so we'll see how things progress and evolve over the next few months. But listen, guys, I know this dragged on for too much longer. I've kind of given you the golden nuggets, you know, from my perspective at least. And so Damien's going to share his story. We're going to kind of dig into what happened for him, and I've got a few questions and things that we can dive into. But if you want to watch that video, then you want to go over to Damien's channel. What is it, Damien?
Yeah, Damien Casson is my name. Yes. Yeah. We'll put the link.
We're going to put the link in the description. And so highly recommend you go check out his channel. He's just started creating some really interesting content, bringing through really cool ideas, and I'm watching his videos, so I think you guys should too. So
thank you.
Thanks, Damien.
Yeah,
we're gonna continue this video, guys, and this is gonna go over on Damien's channel. So head over there now, and
see you soon.
Yeah, well, I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Thank you for sticking with us for this long, and I hope some way you got some value out of this. If you do have any questions, or if you're curious about what these psychedelics are, or if you have a question about the experiences that we've had, please drop it in the comments below. I know we've had everybody from like skeptics to people having like experience with aliens, and so what I like to do is I like to go through these comments and find the best stories and put those into these videos as well, because I think that psychedelics can give just such a wide range of experience. And whether you believe that you're tapping into something spiritual or not, there is a real growing body of evidence from the scientific perspective of the actual transformation benefits, on a neurological level, on emotional level, and just general wellness. So whether or not you're into kind of the spiritual side, there is a massive benefit. So this is what we'll see over the coming 3 to 5 years of microdosing solutions coming out through companies after the psilocybin gets through the phase 3 clinical trials. So let's see. We may have some, psychedelic trip centers opening up soon, the psychedelic therapy centers in Canada and some parts of the US as well. So anyway, guys, we're going to wrap this up. We're rambling on here a bit now. So until next time, peace.